Hello everyone, welcome to the session on I am the world's best software tester. My name is Karthik and I'm representing this session for QAonAir.com. What's going to happen in this session is eventually through the few minutes and probably about couple of hours, we will collectively learn and identify what are those qualities that will make someone the world's best software tester. By this, what I mean is very simple, team. When you look around in the industry, in the IT industry, and when you see people working in a very effective manner, that creates recognition, that creates great quality of work output, that makes things look easy and organized and so on. You see the potential of someone really being one of the best. Now, then you also see certain areas where probably people are lacking in a skill, lacking in a certain attribute or quality or a personal characteristic. These qualities, team, is basically what is important for you to identify. And what we will do as part of this session is I'm going to start collecting this information and showing you what and which you need to really focus on. So, for a moment, let us all go back and start thinking about some of these qualities that are important. All right. What I will do is I will open up a simple Excel and start creating a template around it. Now, so team, now is a great chance for you to start putting what you think are those qualities, one word, two word, small phrase that will make a software tester stand out among the crowd in this industry. Now, do note, team, while I say software tester, there are many things that are common to software itself, IT industry itself. There are many things that are common to any workplace itself. And there could be so many things that are common to life itself. And that is fine. The idea is for me to try and make you and start you thinking of what these could be. And we could then go about looking at my list eventually and making sure that how we go about one. So here's what it is going to happen, team. One, identifying those special attributes or personality personality uh, traits. I hope that's the right word for it. And uh, characteristics that identifying those special attributes, personalities, traits, and characteristics. What is it referring to? It is referring to this section, this specific one. This is what we are talking about right now. So that's the whole scope. Second, is knowing why these are important. So unless you really know why it is important, and knowing what it can do to you, number one, and to the other stakeholders. What are the stakeholders, team? People you work with or for. So the people who you work with or the people you work for, what is it's going to do to them? All right, so that circle. Then knowing your personal gap, in the sense creating a matrix where you're able to make an assessment, a self-assessment for your own area, and then identifying in fixing them. or create a plan for improving. So here is create a plan for improving the gap. All right. Now this is how we're going to go about team. This is going to be our approach. This is going to be how we will focus at all this. So I'm going to quickly take this and put it for a few phrases. Let me a personal gap. Identifying is the first one. So team, I'm taking it very slow for a simple reason. And if you look at it, I never prepared a PowerPoint. I've prepared a lot of content behind that is helping me to build this content live in front of you. The reason is very simple, team. Anyone can do a PowerPoint. But the problem with the PowerPoint is the content is already there. And you are in a very, very listener mode. Okay, let me see what's happening. And you are really not involved. But once I start building the content in front of you, there's a lot of anticipation and you are going at the same speed at which I want to present. And I show you exactly what I want to show you. You're not seeing anything upfront. The other reason, additionally, is also that once you start giving me inputs, this session will really add value. Right now, there are about 70 members who are attending this session live. That's a great collection of people coming from various portions of the globe to make things happen. Now, to create this, to make this happen, I will start with a simple Excel team. This simple Excel will help us to build what we want to do going forward. So what are we talking about right now? Oops. I'm going to first put everything as white. Let us talk about the character, or not character. What is the single word? Skill or attribute. Let's call this attribute character. And team, feel free to jump in, suggest, and how we improve this further, and let's do it together. Traits, yes, there you go. Yes, we can also call it as a traits and so on. Now we are creating this plan. Okay, so what is that character? What is that trait? Will it belong to a separate or a specific category? Okay, then why do we need it? Okay, what was the other one? Let's go back to our plan. What will it do to you? All right, and you identifying the gap. All right, now let's look at what these could be, and then we will start characterizing it. So as we start, you would notice that it will be all over the place. Different people giving different comments and so on. Now, I will not focus on the comprehensiveness of the content team. What do I mean? What I mean is my focus is not to make sure right now that everything is there, all the qualities, not in this session. But we have most of the important ones being identified, and we will continue to add it. Because when I started to work on actually creating this content, it went into few dozens because I was going deep, I was going very specific about it. All right, team. So here we have this. I hope it is visible for you, but I'm going to increase the size just in case. There you go. This is done. Okay. All right, team. So starting from now is a good time for everyone to start helping me to identify what we should use to fill up the first column here. What are those attributes and characters? Go back to our plan, think from it, and then you could address it. That will make someone, I am the world's best software tester. And here is the thing, it is not how to be a world's best software tester. It is a statement that says, I am. So who am I? Is the whole point. Okay. So we are thinking um, from the end in mind. I'm already the world's best software tester, so who am I right now? That's the whole point. Okay, who am I? Now, go ahead, team. All yours. I already started seeing a lot of comments coming on the chat. Give me a few of them that I'll take. Okay, so I see a few. What I'll do, team, is uh, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to put everything, and I'll take all of those, copy it, and put it into a document, and then we'll start sorting it. Okay, so time starts now. In the meanwhile, I'm going to pause the video. That way, we don't have to. Actually, you know what? Let's go on with it. It's not too long. I'm going to sip into my hot tea in the meanwhile. We almost have a lot here. Now, my one suggestion is hold on to your chat messages for a minute, please, so that I'm able to copy it and put it up so that all of us could quickly look into it. Okay. So I'm starting from the way up. Team, no more messages, please, on chat. Just hold on there. I will give you another opportunity to start putting them. But now, just hold on to what we've got. The reason is I won't be able to copy everything otherwise. So I'm starting from hello, 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 hello. There you go. I have it from here all the way down. You're not yet able to see what I did, but I just copied something, and I'm going to go to the same document, and I'm going to start putting everything here. Oops. Okay, there you go, team. So I have put all those details here. Now we will go through one and each and everything and see how we identify them. So thoroughness. So thoroughness is basically what? Sorry, team. What is thoroughness, team? I got one word called thoroughness. Now, thoroughness is, let me put it as is, and then you will see if it can be something else. And where does it come? Is it a general thing or a specific skill, or is it under communication, or is it under behavioral, or something more uh, from a psychological perspective, how we start thinking and so on. Okay. That is thoroughness. Then detail oriented. So I'm going to say this is attention to detail. How about that? Then out of box. What is out of box? There are some phrases that get used so much in this industry that it really confuses us as to what really they are. And we have to look at persistence. Persistence. Okay. Creativity. I like this. Finding new paths to bugs. Okay, there you go. I thought finding new bugs that are not existing is the same thing, but creating new bugs is what I thought is coming there. All right. Attention to details, curiosity, curiosity. Speed to look to be efficient. Okay, speed is important. Determination. Again, determination can be determination. What if? Repetitive. Patience. Repetitive, I'm not sure if it's a specific skill. Patience, kind of linked with it. Communication. Coding, scripting should be embraced. See, there we go. We're getting now more specific into the comments. In fact, there's so many more comments, and I actually asked everyone to stop so that I could put them in. Coding, scripting should be embraced. All right. See, that's an important one also. Coding, scripting. And we're talking about software testing also, correct? So we want to get very special, get focused onto that area quickly. Wanted to do for everything. It does. I'm just reducing the width so that everything can be on one page. Communication, patience, focus on quality and value, collaboration. Creating a plan to reduce the gap, right? Okay, traits, attention to detail, do what it takes, question everything, don't take things for granted. Question everything. Characters of good software, finding faults, thinking out of the box, analyzing the software problems in detail, attention to detail. See, so nice. You basically said three things from my perspective. This is most important. You prioritized and said this is what it is. Finding faults. So, end of the day, that's a very, very key thing. There's no question about it. Analyzing in detail, attention to detail, analyzing problems, analysis. Okay. How about things like excellent verbal and written communication? Verbal communication, calm, and then written, calm. Then we have detail oriented, various tools. There you go. We're getting now closer to what we think. And look at it already, how many are coming in. Now we got to really prioritize it. Subconsciously, sometimes we think that we know some of these, we have it, and so on. But unless we list it and really do a brainstorming, you don't know how much of what you have within yourself. Experience. And the reason it is important is it makes someone, I'm the world's best software tester. So, with all these characteristics, there could be someone who's got little experience, someone with more experience. So, experience counts. Now, you have to go about thinking what should you do to get that, right? Good listener. Let's see, excellent verbal, focus on quality, critical thinking. All right, team. So let's focus on these and see personality, about analytical quality, demonstrations, learning curve. I possess eagle's eye. There you go. Eagle's eye is one. Technical background, out of the box idea, learning curve, good communication. Did I miss anything else? So there are many more that will keep coming as we go along. Team. Now, while you see these, there are so many towards it, right? Let's talk about a simple thing called communication now. Do you see communication by itself? What are the ways you communicate? You say verbal and written, correct? But are they it? Is that it? Now, keeping this as is, all right, team, I'm going to copy some content here and I'm going to show you. Make copy, create a copy to the end. So, this is what we've got so far from the team, right? So, I'm going to call this, rename this, and I'm going to call this as team inputs. And I'm sure there would have been many more as we go along. Now, here, I'm going to call this as a draft. I'm going to delete all of this in draft and copy something that I've created earlier. Contents, there you go. Give me one quick second while I go and bring that up. So, I have communication copied and I'm going to put this as category in communication, and Let me copy a few of them, and I'm sure I would have missed a few more, which we can continue in the next one and put it. So here's the thing, team. Communication is the category and the attribute or characteristics are these. Now, what is this list and what are we trying to do here? If you notice, team, this list is all under communication. We typically think that our communication is related or is only on few areas, right? Like, how do you write emails? How do you talk on the phone? But there are so many more things to do, team, that you will be surprised that each of these play a critical role. So for the first part of the session, we're going to focus on these few aspects, team. We will stick to this specific schedule and we'll make sure that we all go through this together. So there you go. I've got this in, I've got this in, and so on. Now, from a communications perspective alone, now see, we're getting more focused. We've talked about so many areas randomly in the team inputs here. Now we are getting down and drilling down on one specific area called communication. In the next following portion of the session, I will get into things called as tools, and then we will get into another one as personality traits. Personality is what you appear to be for the others. Now, okay, let's go to from here. Do you see anything else from a communication perspective that is missing? You can put this if you get a question. Now, let's talk about return communication and truly identify why is it important. So why is written communication important, team? Why do you think? Is it because people need to read what you write? Or is it because in today's world, with a global world, okay, global teams and varied time zones, we do a lot of offline reading. What does that mean? You need to send a message in a way that someone is able to read in exactly the same way you want them to read and convey that exactly the same message before, uh, when they are ready to see it. So, if your return communication is not clear, okay, is not passing the message, then it's a problem offline. So because of these, it is becomes very critical thing, and most of today's com is done through writing. Correct? So your ability to write properly and pass the correct message is very important, because the message can get so garbled that there'll be too much noise in it and it will not pass the right message. Sorry, I put myself on mute for a second. Now, what do you do? Uh, what was the second part that we created in this Word doc at the very beginning? Knowing what it can do to you. Oh, yeah, there you go. Or to other stakeholders, people. So, this is important. What will it do to you? What kind of an effect can it have on you? It will create an impression, right? About, oh, Karthik sends an email, absolutely brilliant. I know exactly what he wants. I know exactly what she wants, and there's no question in the what it is, right? So there is an impression that you create. There is a sense of importance in when they continue to see your emails. So you send one communication, one document which is with errors, grammatical issues, does not have the same thing. That impression will continue to, and you will lose that specific sense of importance in the eye of the reader. So they will say, "Oh yeah, I know you sent me the document. I'll look into it. That's fine." Because I know that I'll have to really focus on fixing the defects in the documents itself, right? And there is a clarity or common understanding. Correct? If this does not happen, team, it's a problem. And trust me, even I fail on it sometimes. Why will someone fail on it, team? Why can someone fail on these kind of attributes which are so critical for everyone, right? Why do you think? What happens is sometimes we are not attentive. We are doing multiple things at the same time, and we are trying to work on different areas of our project at the same time. We are not sitting down and making sure that we give the proper attention to it, and that is the problem. So what you need to do is, number one, I focus on identifying the importance and urgency of a writing. I'm calling it as writing. So, for example, sometimes there is you need to create a quick requirements document, summary, bullet points, and send it. You don't have too much time, but you need to do a quick one. So you cannot really get deep into it. Sometimes you're creating a very non-important document. It is just like event log or kind of a defect log or simple comments as some other activity is going on. Then how do you react to it? So first identify, is it important? Is it urgent? Who is going to be the reader? Okay, that we need to note it. Unless you think that, oh, okay, it's going to be read by these people, only then you're going to look into what next. To identify the audience for it. So unless you really dig deep and know who will read this document, who will use, you will not create it accordingly. So think in your mind before you start creating, who is my audience? So for example, even me today, right now, look at this example. I'm writing, correct? Why am I writing in this manner, in this kind of a thing, Excel, or why am I using Word and so on, not a PowerPoint? Because I know my audience. My audience will be more interested when they are interacting, when they are involved, and they see things getting prepared in front of them, right? That is why I did this. So you need to first importance and urgency of it. You need to identify the who the audience is, and then you need to decide on the template format, okay, mode of that written communication, right? So there is then the clarity of that this is what you do. 4 is create first a high level bullets of the content, then improve on it. So for example, if you need to write a document, which could be as simple as uh, how I want to present this session. So I just say that this is what I will do. I will create this, and at the end, all the inputs I'll take and I'll put it under these sections. So now my whole thing is distributed into 5 phases. We will identify what those are. We will know why those are important, what it can do to you, knowing your personal gap, and improving it. Correct? So my message in this team is to break down your complex problem into something that is more chewable. And once you do this, sorry, your writing will automatically get into the zone of what you want it to be. And that is the importance of written team. Now, look at spoken. Do you think the time zone for spoken is important? Do you think spoken English is important because you have a global team? No. Or people want to listen to your voice offline? Not necessarily, not most. But why? Because it is in a document, you cannot emphasize, you cannot kind of put down something slowly and say this is not that important. Or say that you need to do this, you need to focus on this part, this is the most important one. So the emotion into what you want to convey in the word. Okay, so you want to put the emotion into the words that you write, right? That cannot be done in writing purely. you need to emphasize on important words, correct? You need to be able to further press and say that, okay, this is important, this is not important. So to really put that meaning, essence of a written message gets to you with spoken. And I really don't need to talk too much about spoken, team, because at the end of the day, this is a very, very critical one. Now, what it can do to you, again, impression, sense of importance, but it will also do something else, team, which the return may not do. Okay, so make feel good, in the sense that it should be in such a way, team, that when people talk to you, they should feel happy that they're talking to you. They should feel happy that, oh, I have a call, but I know it's with Ian. Ah, that's a good call. He's a nice guy to speak with. I would love to speak with him. That should be the kind of output you want to expect. You should make people feel good to be able to talk to you, right? So how, being very genuine. Okay, so make feel good, this is what, so we'll come to the gap. Make feel good, and what will it do to the others, right? What will it do to you, what will it do to the others? Okay, uh, again, the same thing: importance, emphasis. Okay, ensuring the personality is put into the words. So end of the day, the same content, okay, if I am presenting it, could be different from way different from someone else who's got probably a better communication skill is presenting, someone who's a master tutor is presenting, or someone who's more beginner, right? So that spoken English is what will give the personality to the words. So you really need to focus in identifying, one, what do people think about you, right? So you need to ask people, hey, how's my English? And I used to do this very, very often, till I reached a stage that I know what is good in me and what is bad. I've kept asking people as to, what do you think? How do you think I'm speaking? But truly, the best way for you to identify what could help you improve your spoken English is to say plus record plus listen plus critic. Be a critic to it. How many of you have a smartphone, team? Or how many of you know that there is a recorder on your system, voice recorder? Take anything, any topic, and try and record on it. Then listen to it. Not one time, two times, three times, five times, 10 times, and be a critic. And I'll tell you why. If I write a document and I ask my team to review it, I know they will review it, but there'll be defects that will come out because they're reviewing it. When I create, my subconsciously I lose everything of what I wrote there. But when someone else reviews it, they know that they look from it from a different viewpoint. They will go through things that I may have missed and make sure that it improves. Same thing with your spoken. Once you listen and once others listen to it, you would know what uh, errors we made. For example, in all the speech so far, some of you may have identified that I've misspelled some words, or I was not good in certain areas, or my voice is not good. There are areas where I could improve. Unless you record your own voice and you be a critic, you identify exactly what the problem is, you will never improve it. That is a guarantee from my side. The good thing is, when you'll never improve. Now, what should you do? Don't do that portion. Do this, it will help you. Do it on your iPhone or a smartphone or your system. Record and listen to your voice. And end of the day, what do you want to do? You want this to happen. You want people to feel good that you have spoken. So for example, if I come and say, okay, so let's start the session. All of you, okay? You're listening? Yeah? Okay. Uh, so, you know what? I will do this session for 10 minutes and then you can give your questions. And then We will come back again next session. See, suddenly I changed everything. What kind of a reaction may it create to the audience? Just imagine this. And team, being the world's best software tester is not is not revolutionizing everything that you have. It is identifying those small gaps and filling it. Your wall is already there. There are few holes in it. You just need to fill those ones. But unless you have an eye and you know exactly where those holes are, how will you fill it, right? That's what we're trying to do. Whenever you practice on improving anything that you do, team, make sure that you look at this document and see what is that end result you want. You want people to feel good that you're talking. When you're talking, you know that there are certain areas you're emphasizing. There are certain areas you're saying, that's fine. There are certain areas where you're talking pleasingly. There are certain areas where you're really standing up for you. Everything that you do, team, at the end is spoken. It'll come out to be a spoken, because even if you send in writing and all that, when you get on the call, it is again, it is not the most important one. I can't say, but it is right at the top. So do this, it'll help you. Now, reading, team, how can reading be different? What is reading? Why do we need this, and how can it be different? How can reading be really different from what you see, right? You got something and you will read that, correct? Now, why will it be important? Written we understand, spoken we understand. The right message. Okay, reading between the lines. Okay, reading, uh, what's that? Biased to the sender or creator of that, right? So, if you see a book from a famous author, all right, and if you see a book from someone who's absolutely beginner, what will your reaction be? For example, you see a Deepak Chopra book, or you see a John Grisham book, right? Before you open the book, you already know that there will be something to the content, and you're all attentive, you're going to read on it, correct? Now, let's say you're going through an annual review, all right, your performance appraisal, and you get an email detailing everything about it. How do you read it? You don't even read the first few portions, then you'll go deep into it somewhere where the numbers are there, or where the grade and so on, and try and jumble things because you want a quick message. There are different ways we read. Sometimes we're saying that I want to sit and I want to read page by page, and not skip forward because of the content that you're reading. End of the day, what is important, team, is what it can do to you. One, the message, constant message, right? You grasp the true meaning of it. Your actions will get based on what you read, right? So this communication becomes so important, team, that you need to follow up on this very, very stringently, especially with reading and making sure that you understand what it can do. If you don't read the message correctly, then it's a problem. So again, you need to improve. You need to be able to classify and uh, uh, not prioritize, but and understand the content. Okay, is it skip, read, skip, and so on, or go end to end, and so on. Correct? Most of the times, team, we get an email and we will see that we want to skip through everything and quickly go through the important areas and so on. Then somewhere that will be mentioned that, hey, also please make sure that you put these in a specific folder, and they will name it. So at that time, if someone didn't highlight or put them in quotes, then it will become a problem, right? And you will very easily misread it, and your whole actions are changing, and you will not do the job in the right manner, in the manner that people would want you to do it. even despite the fact that you put that there. Now, let's go on to the next one thing, body language. How important is this? From why to what it can do. Why important? Why is it important? What it can do to you. And look at it, team. We are almost an hour into the session and we're still at the very top. And I will continue to go a little more faster through these. But just to let you know that it is important to dig deep into each. This is really, you are breaking up the whole house and you're trying to go and see what all areas. All right. So, why is it important? What it can do to you, and plus others. Okay. Body language has a lot of things, team. Why is it important? It uh, again subconsciously passes a big message about you. All right. You write well. You speak great. You are a good reader of content. You know and understand things exactly. But if your body language is not all that great, when we say body language, it is like this: you are either always a straight faced, you don't have your hand motions slowly, you are always crouching and in a very not a friendly manner, it will kind of create a very very wrong message to all that you do, right? So that's what it is. And someone who's always smiling or always laughing or someone who's always angry, so there should be a kind of how do I put it? And in fact, for body language itself, just that topic, people have taken uh, days of sessions to talk on it, work on it. But I will tell you why is it important. You know, right? Passes a big message about you, creates the right atmosphere within others and work. So depending on how your body language is, it everyone else in the team will also look at this and say, okay, it's great to go to work today. Why? Because I have such an awesome team to work with, awesome set of people, and look at them, so spirited. They dress so well. They smile and greet each other. When they talk, they stand up straight, and these small things, team, will create a big impact on the whole work atmosphere, how you go about. And it is also in such so much in your personal life, right? Now, what it can do to you others, again, spirit, okay? It will write message, it will create a good work atmosphere, and so on. How can you improve this thing? How will you know the gap and improve it? In fact, this is gap recognition is there and gap improvement is also there. So we will see if we can divide it into both. How do you recognize what is the gap and then improve on it? Any ideas on how you will be able to recognize this thing? How do you recognize how your body language is? What is the only way to do it? And I'm going to ask a question as to how many people have actually done it in the session. The only way to do is take a video of yourself. Looking in the mirror is fine, team. You do it every day. But there is a certain aspect it will do it. It will happen only when you're looking back at yourself. What about from the side? What about from the back? What about when you're walking around and you want to see what's happening at that time? You need to record yourself and do it, Tim. It's all at your home. Do it in the privacy of your own bedroom. All right. Do it in the privacy of wherever you want, in the car. Sometimes what I do is when I get stuck in the traffic, I start recording. I feel I have a good voice for singing, but then I can't sing effectively. Not as effectively as singer can, right? But I record myself and I try and listen to it. Then I go back and listen to the song. It's interesting. I just play around with it. Then sometimes I record my own video as a message and I pass it to my team saying that, hey, this is what it is. So start recording and you watch first. Don't even send it to anyone. You watch, note issues, improve on it. The idea, team, is to try and focus on recordings that uh, like you uh, present in your team. So, what is, for example, very common with you as a software tester and so on? What kind of meetings where you go and you talk about? You go and talk about with business analysts, for example, about scope, or you go and talk about developers when there is an issue, right? You have an issue in the project, and you'll see that the developer is not agreeing to that. Then, at that time, when you go and pass the message, Greg, I saw your defect. All right. I, I saw the note you put to my defect, but how can you put that note when you know so well that I've shown the screenshots, I've shown you exactly all the steps to reproduce the issue. Have you even tried it at your end? If you have not tried it, then how can you reply back saying that it's not an error? Please try it. Show me the screenshot that it's not an error. Then I will look into it, and then I'll say, okay, that's fine. Thank you. I'll accept my mistake. Now, what did I do, team? I created a conversation out of my life, like you present in your life. Okay, out of my life, out of my work life, I took that portion and presented, and then I record that, and then I see how it is. Another recording you do, like you're talking as if to a team member. Hey guys, what's happening? How's your status today? Have you done anything? Have I done anything? Yeah, I'm stuck on these areas. This is what really causes pain for me, and this is the issue. And look at how much stress the management is putting on us. Look at what they're doing, and how what kind of a thing they're doing. Do it, team. Do it in that way. Record it in such a way that you know how you look and how you act in different areas of these. Okay, it unless you do this, team, it will not happen again. You need to do this. Then identify those weak spots, and if it is creating the right atmosphere, sorry about that, atmosphere with audience, and re-record with those changes. And team, I want to ask a question to all the audience while you are here. Is this going in the right direction? I am not here to identify and just list down all those traits and attributes. I'm here to identify these important things. Why? What can it do? How do you know the gap? How do you fix the gap? That is the idea of it. And that's the reason I'm suggesting how you go about improving it as well. Now, when you get to the other areas, few more areas, it will become more important. Telephonic, again, the same thing. It is very similar to body language. It is very similar to spoken. You need to repeat the same thing. But telephonic has a few more things for you to do, team. For example, you're not in front of someone, correct? You are speaking in front of someone, that's different. You're speaking away from someone, it is different because you are not in the same room. Your body language is missing. Okay, so this can create not in same room, body language missing. Okay. Now, what it can do to you others, make people involved into the discussion. Okay, make the separation create virtually their feeling and so on. Now, what happens here, team? Again, start recording, do it, and see what it is. Okay, you listen here. Now, why is this so important, team? What will it kind of do? Very simple, team. Let's say we're having telephonic conversation, okay, and we are talking. Three of us we're talking on a conference call, and this is more of a conference call. One-on-one, at least we know. Suddenly we know that one guy is not even there, is not even talking, he's not even saying. He didn't even announce he joined. Actually, we'll come to that in the conference call. But telephonic itself, if you are, for example, there are simple things like uh, you are not muting yourself when you have other noise. Why? Because you're not in the same room. You're not recreating. You could be in your restroom. You could be at an airport. You could be driving. You could be sleeping in a sleeping position or watching TV and talking. Right? When you're in a room, you are all attentive to the conversation one on one. When you're on telephone, you're not. And that is the reason, team. Try and do these recordings in different areas when you're having telephonic conversation and see how it is. I know you can't record everything in your life and start doing everything, but if you really want to see how your telephonic conversation is, you have to record. You have to record telephonic conversations that you have with your friends or anyone. It could be through external recorder or whatever while you're talking in different areas. That is very important. Okay, start recording. You listen, note. Okay. Teleconversations in different areas. Sometimes, do you notice you have a conversation and you will suddenly say, "Hey, are you driving? Or are you at an airport? Or are you sleeping? Are you in a restroom? Hey, is it a good time to talk?" Right? All of those things. Why do we ask? Because the other person is making us realize what it is. Then there are etiquettes. See, there are communication etiquette that I will bring up towards the end of not today's session, another session later, where we will talk and emphasize on these are some of the things. Hello, how are you doing today? Is it a good time to talk? What's this? Hi. So let's get started. Or no, not even hi. Hey, what's happening? Can you give me the idea on what it is? So these mannerisms, team, will make a big blowing difference on you. All right. So that's telephony. Conference calls. How are they different, team? Number one, you're not the only one. There are more than two participants there, mostly, correct? So, number one, you have to make people realize that you're there. All right. You have to make people, uh, let me put it here, make people realize you are there. Okay. Participate as needed. Okay. If you are thinking and silent, let people know that you're thinking and you're silent. People know about it. Otherwise, they cannot, right? Are you thinking about it, right? Or, uh, or if you want, if you're thinking, breaking, pausing, okay, tech issues, whatever you're facing, you have to let people know about it. And the other thing, team, is don't keep saying hello, 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 hello. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Don't keep saying that hello word. What's the point of saying the hello word? Start a conversation with hello. I just created those 10 hellos just for you guys to realize that ask a question, put it in a sentence. Don't keep saying hello. What do you mean by saying hello? Hello, 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 hello. Don't vary, don't try and put emotion into the hello word yet. Ask, hey, anyone there? Can you all hear me? Fine, team. I'm trying to talk, but I'm not getting a response. I just want to check you there. Hello, are you guys there? All right. If you cannot hear me, can you ping me? And so that's a very different way, team. For example, you're all there and I'm not seeing anything. If I keep on saying hello, then what's the point, right? So there are some of these things which will kick ass. They will basically uh, make a big difference on your personality, big difference on your conference calls, on your telephonic calls, and so on. So is webinars, how you prepare it, and so on. Specifically for emails, team, there is no end to it. All right, emails is by far your largest communication medium. All right, you may create 100 documents, not everyone is reading. Emails is the most important. Plus, Why? There are can be read, forwarded, right? Interpreted. All tasks, everything is aligned from emails team. Just for the emails, again, we need a very focused one. But most importantly, team, for the email communication, I see this. And I'll not talk about what it can do to you or others because it is self obvious. It can do a lot. If it is the right, most important, most widely used medium, you will know that this is critical. The first thing, team, subject should be short and relevant. If you don't have the right subject, that's a problem. All right. Some people will say help or hi in the subject, and the whole email has something else. They will say that there is an urgent technical issue, and we will have a downtime this weekend for the applications. So please do not test anyone. Guys, do you put hi as a subject for it? How many people would have read that message on the Blackberries and iPhones and realized, oh, hi message. Okay, that's whatever. Yeah, some personal about a party or the weekend or something. Come on, outage this weekend, and in quotes or outage in caps. You should put the proper relevant short subject. And some people put the whole email itself in the subject. Long one. Don't do that. It should be short and it should be relevant. Next, start with the right greeting. And email team is got everything here. Like for example, if I take a new document and I say subject, like I said, it cannot be a hi, right? You cannot just say hi. Rather, you should say outage. Oops. Can you hear me, team? Are you all able to hear me fine? Okay, cool. Thank you. There are a few people who just saying that they can't. So, for example, I was saying hi is a word by itself, but if you say this instead of saying outage this weekend, it passes a very different message, and you may want to further emphasize. So, what is it? Short and it is relevant to what it is. Now, greetings. How do you greet in your email team? How do you greet someone when you send an email? You say hello, hi, hi, all, dear, all, right? All of this, or just names. Now, here I don't have a hard and a fast rule for it. All right. So my only suggestion is don't use dear unless you really want to use it. Just keep it very professional to hello. Use use. One second, please. I just wanna start with right greeting. Use the name if it is a short list and address them accordingly. And team, for emails, I will do a separate session for sure. Pre-session sometime down the line where I'll go through at length how we do it. But for example, hello Karthik, all right, and then pre-intro, like niceties. You put some niceties. Hope you're doing well. How's everything at your end? It's been a long since we've spoken. That's again, team. You can go straight to the topic. You can cut to the chase. It is not necessary that we go about writing it every time. I do it very often still. When I write to clients, I write to someone senior, or so I write to some of my team members who are very, very remote. I say, hey, how are you guys doing? What's happening? But depending on how you work, sometimes I don't even use this. I don't even say hello, hi, because it's an ongoing conversation. Depending on what you're doing, you need to have it. All right. So it's okay to have niceties, but don't make it a thing. However, there are a few tricks, team. Uh, for example, when I get an email, someone is requesting something which is hard, but at the end of that email, they have small thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really like what's happening between us, and so on. Then it creates a way for me. Okay, you know what? I'm obliged now to help. All right, especially when you're asking for favors, be nice in it. So, with a shortlist, address them accordingly. Start with casual niceties if possible. if needed. All right, otherwise not. Then uh, divide the content into paras and bullets wherever possible. All right, separate sections logically and have the right closure, and finally the signature. And sometimes, team, people send an email in the signatures, they just say regards. In the signature, they'll say regards or thank you. Then some people will also put their name, or let's say Archie, something like this, just the initials. Guys, why don't you also put a contact number if you may want people to call you back, right? If you put an email ID, it is okay. Even if you don't put an email ID, that is fine. If you put a title or a role and so on, this signature is very important, be it personal emails or work emails. Now, I cannot go into the specific details of it. As I said, emails is one where I will definitely do a very detailed session on. I'm going to mark some of these in yellow, please. So, I also wanted to do a separate session specifically on anything else did I say that I wanted to do separate? Yeah, body language. These I want to do separate sessions. Now, documentations team, we spoke about some of it. We spoke about grammar, and uh, accent is something that I see a major problem in these days. Okay, even on an accent and a spoken thing, we will need to have a separate session on it. But just to let you know, team, at the end of the day, why is it important? Because of global teams, right? Different uh, cultural and geographical backgrounds. So we have spent probably 2 decades of our life uh, in an absolutely different zone from someone else in your team, different country, different states, different local dialects, local languages. So there are a lot of hard inbuilt things that are very, very tough to shake, very, very tough to remove. And trust me, the ground level from schooling, what comes up to you is by far the most important. There's no question about it. So that's why the emphasis has been so significant that we start right from the beginning for the kids. However, even if you're there right now out here, you can uh, change your accent. And the best way to do it is again telephonic, all right, interviews or mock interviews. Okay. You self review and then peer review. What is peer review? You get it reviewed by someone else. And specifically, when we are doing this, right, you will ask them about things. How did I use voice modulation? Did I emphasize on words and not? How was my accent? How was my grammar? Did I pass the right message? Was there niceties, or did I show uh, uh, happiness and a smile on the telephone? Could you see me smile in the audio? Those things, team, you'll need to uh, review. What are those different things you need to review when you are analyzing yourself? Now, team, at a high level, here is what it is from just a communication perspective, and you know the depth of it. Now, what are those few common things that you need to do overall for all these communications, especially when it comes to written, spoken, reading, body language, all of this. Do it and review it and get the right feedback, and then you know the gap you can improve it. So you need to record it. You need to start seeing the right ones. The best way, team, is, if I can use the same one, is to follow your future. What I mean by this is identify someone who writes great English, who has great email writing, who talks amazingly well, who presents amazingly well, who has a great body language, and do a shameless copy. Don't bother about it. Do a shameless copy about it. Okay, add a little self touch, very little. Don't change everything. Then you repeat it with another idol. What does that mean? You will not stick with one team. You'll keep on going to the next and next and next. Each of your idol that you look at and who has something, there are only a certain things one person can teach you. There are only a certain things that you learn or you can get inspired by one. Yes, there are a few superhumans that really inspire and go deep into it. But you got to keep going to the next, to the next, to the next. And basically make the whole world your learning board. So you cannot just say that, okay, I will learn only from this person. Keep on doing it wherever you see it. So always keep your open mind. Always see that if I want to improve this, who writes the best? Who speaks the best? Who is a great reader and gets the right message? Even someone who reads a fiction novel, or someone who goes through some corporate documents and legal writing readings and so on. The way they read, body language, look at the best people who present themselves correctly in your family circles, work circles, wherever you can. Look at it and go about seeing it. So follow the people, record yourself, review yourself, learn from the people, improve. Focus on this, your communication will definitely improve. The reason recording is important, team, okay? And as I said, record plus critic review plus ask feedback plus improve. All right. Make sure you date the content. All right. Because what will happen, team? It will be so amazing. You date the content of what you've created and keep some short notes for it. And you come back after 3 years and you bump into it and you see that, wow, there's something out here. Then that will be really awesome for you to look at. And in fact, one of the best ways for you to do, team, is to go to the Google Drive, team. All right, if you all have Google Drive, it's a good place. You can create a folder called self improvement. Right. Here you start putting those things, and you can say that within this you create a sheet. Do a small recording of your audio, put it in here, date it, and put a note for it. Write something, put it in here, date it, note it. Then it will be so easy for you to share it directly with your other team members, other friends, contacts, and say, hey, look at what I did and tell me, please, how is it? Can you review audio one, video one, and ask them for various aspects. All right. That is how you will be really able to move on it, please. Because, see, end of the day, I am not trying to tell you what you have to do. I'm also trying to show you how you can do it. So ideally, what you should do here is create a spreadsheet. And in that spreadsheet, I'm going to call this as review or checklist of review. Okay, review points checklist. So here, review what all do you want to review, and for which document are we doing? So who is doing it? For example, this is self. Okay, self video 1. All right. Then self video 2. Let's select this. Then your friend, one of your friends that you've used. Okay. Let's say RJ video. What is their review? So you reviewed, and then someone else is reviewing for you. What is their feedback? This is on a video file. Similarly, you have an audio also. Okay, RJ audio 1. What did they review on audio? So what am I trying to do, team? I am trying to give a structure to what you should do. Okay, I am not giving you just points which you are. There is no point in you coming to this session because all that you have done is you already know it. There is no way, or very very few people will say, you know what, that's right. Actually, that is an important point. You all know. We've heard it so many times. It is about creating an action plan to go about improving it. That's what you need to really focus on. So okay, so review. What do you want to review? Voice clarity. Okay, nicety in voice, extra sweet, extra rude, all right, breaks in voice, okay, accent, then uh, uh, enthusiasm, all right. So, oops, so I'm so sorry, team. I don't know when the screen was frozen. I'm so sorry. I know it's been frozen for a few minutes, I guess. All right, there you go. It was not your screen, it was my screen. I'm so sorry. So what I did is, just let you know, I went to Google Drive and I created a new folder out here called self improvement. And in this folder, I created a new Google spreadsheet and I said review points checklist. Under this review points checklist, I said that we will say what are those review points, which is your self video one. For your first video, how is this? For your second video, how is this? Your friend RJ, how did they review? Someone else, how did they review? Audio. So for each of them, the same things are getting repeated over and over again. Okay. So here you'll say voice clarity is 2 out of scale of 5, let's say. Here you're improving 3. RJ says it is 1. And next one it says 2. So what is happening? For each content, you know how the reviews are and are you slowly improving it. So find a buddy and start doing this way. I will share these templates. If you want, you can start putting it, but make sure that all the portions that you're there are good here. Body language, all right, grammar, then in emails again, specifically team, subject, this, that, everything. This is the only way, team, for you to really revolutionarily improve your skill. I mean, it's like a major fix. It's very simple, team. Let's say you bought an old house. All right. Already people know how that house looks and so on. Either you make touch-up jobs and just small improvements, or you kind of rip everything and do an entire flip of the house. All right. You spend more money, you spend more time and effort, but you know that needs to be done. You will do it. So depending on where you are on your own communication skill, you need to do that, please. That's my whole suggestion. In fact, all of these I'm going to put into Google Drive. You'll have access to it. So this is just the communications portion of it. Now, I should have better prepared myself in terms of the depth of content that I need to go, because I don't think this is going to be done in an hour or two. I think it'll take another 2 sessions at least for me like this to complete everything. Because more importantly, and this is just to the top of it, if I look at self improvement, where is the file that I created? Okay, it's there in QAonAir. See, for example, one of the things I really emphasize my team to focus on is to make sure that we have everything well documented, everything is structured and so on. So qualities of software tester responses is what it's a work in progress document where we're preparing everything. So here I have a few more things that are coming up just for today's session that I wanted to do was on skill and tools that you need to have. But I don't think team we have enough time to do that. I need to, which is the one, okay, here, tools. So what are those tools that one needs to have and why? I'm going to quickly emphasize these, team, and touch upon what they are. All right, and you can look at it and say what is important. Team, simple tools like Notepad, you need to be good at it. Why? It is important for quick writing, quick editing. Notepad is a very quick tool. You will be able to write quick content. MS Excel, very important thing, very critical for your career. All right. The reason it is very important is because you need to know at least the basics of how you create such things. For example, if someone asks you to create a project estimation matrix, what would you do? You can open up a notepad, all right, or a simple text document, and you can start saying, okay, total test cases is 20. Okay, out of this, serious or let's say critical are, let's say, 10. Okay, and time for critical, this is all about execution, let's say, is 1 hour. I'm just very randomly putting. Okay, this is the content. For example, I'm showing you why it will be important. Why Excel will be important. Critical, I'll say medium, all right, and I'll say low. So medium, I'll say are 7, and this will take about half hour, and low, I will say, or low criticalities, this will take about 1/4 hour. Now, what is the total team? What is the total time it will take? So 10 into 1, 10, plus 7 into half, 3 and a half, plus 3 into 1/4, 0.75. So how much is the total? 14.25, correct? Now, this is the total hours. So a team lead asks you to prepare a quick estimation of how long it will take for you to complete execution of these 20 test cases in all documentation. You said 14.25 hours divided by 8 hours per day. You'll say 2 days, correct? Also, you can do it in 2 days, great. Then do it for all these modules. Now there are 45 test cases. Now you do it. You'll say, oh, how do I edit it? Then I did this, 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 this. So number one, it is not easy for you to do it. Number two, it is not giving a easy presentation to someone. If you had done it in an Excel, for example, all right, we'll put here that critical number. Okay, then you'll rather say number. Okay, number of TCs for critical, and here you'll say time taken. All right. Now this is for critical. You will merge them. So simple things I'm doing. To what extent you need to know is what I'm showing. So you know how to merge cells. You know how to put them into different columns and so on. Number of test cases, time taken, and again low number of test cases and time taken. So now what is this at the end? You will say total number of test cases, total time taken. Now see how I'll color it. Total is different from all of these. This is one, right? But total is slightly different. So I'm going to give it a different background, right? The others are different by themselves. So I'll give these a different background. You could further do it and say that, okay, all of these will be in different ones itself. Uh, each of them will be different colors. But the reason I'm doing this is if I put 10 and time taken is, let's say, 1 hour. If I say medium, number of test cases is, let's say 6, and time taken is 0.5. Here 4 and time taken is 0.2. Okay. Now, what is the total number of test cases? Very simple. This equals this plus this plus this. Right? So tomorrow if someone says change it to 15, you know it easily. Or you're able to copy the whole thing. Let me increase the font of this, please. Or you're able to copy the whole thing and repeat that row again. And sorry if I'm taking you into depth, team, because that's how I would love to do it. Because you've got to know really why, really what, how you do about doing it. Okay, I'm telling you with skill. You may need to go to a specialized training. In fact, I'm planning to do 1-day session again on Microsoft Excel. Again, a lot of these sessions will be free, team, so don't worry about it. So time taken, automatically this is changing. So you're able to copy for scenario 1, or you're able to then say, oh, this is for which module. All right, you're able to say and do it for module 1, module 2, and so on. See, on a longer term, this will become more effective. This will become more easy. Time taken, how is it? This equals this star this plus this star this plus this star this. That is the total time taken. 13.8 hours. For the next scenario, automatically 18.8. I don't even need to do any more thinking anymore. So what has it done, team? What is it that this specific exercise of creating Microsoft Excel done? Okay. What is the output of it? One, easy to maintain, correct? better to present, correct, and saves effort and time, right? So these are the advantages of it. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to improve your efficiency. Every area you need to improve. So if you are a software tester and if you are not good at Microsoft Excel, then it's a problem team. You need to get better at it. Okay. How do you get better? Start doing everything in MS Excel. That's it. Practice on it a little bit. There is nothing better than learning something by diving into it and exploring it. That is the best way to learn. And as you face issues, look at YouTube, look at Google, search for small things. That is how I learned. I never went to a formal training for Microsoft Excel, but you'll get through it. So you need to learn such tools, team. So similarly, I'll quickly continue with the others also. MS DOS, Microsoft Documents, MS Word rather. You need why do you need MS Word, team? You need MS Word for documentation. You need to know how to create header images, footer images, content and images, how you create a table of content, how you go about dividing them into different sections and so on. All of this is important. Then you need some things like your emails, Outlook, all right, all of those things. Then you need other things like your test management tools like QC, ALM, Jira, Bugzilla, Google Drive, okay, CSS, what is that? Other thing that I wanted to say, or any other, like SharePoint, simple things that you may need. Okay, you need the basic knowledge of HTML, you need the basic knowledge of XML, basic knowledges. Okay, you need some amount of these two are important. Automation tools, if you know something, that will be great. Let me quickly make sure that I have got everything from my other document and put it in here. Sorry. I don't think I put everything here. Uh, then automation tools team. At least one tool will be good, but again, I'm not emphasizing. This is the base. Okay, if you don't have these, then it's no point. Then you know how simple to work on browsers, keyboard shortcuts. Okay, how you can take screenshots, right, and attach them. Basic image handling, how you can do some modifications with images and so on. So all of these things, team, will be important. All right. All of these small things, tools will be important. I'll not emphasize too much on these specifically, but make sure that some of the Microsoft PowerPoint, I've missed it. Why is PPT important, team? Why is PowerPoint important? PowerPoint important because you want to show things in a PowerPoint. You want to be able to pass a specific message. Right? It's a lot of times you will need to summarize your whole thing and present it in 15 minutes as its project status. Then how do you do it? You will go about creating a PowerPoint and presenting it in that manner, right? So each tool has a different purpose, and each tool will really take you through that journey of communicating effectively in your team, in your project and so on. So please make sure that all of these basic tools you cover for sure. Now, there are many more things, team, that I have not yet covered in this session. I'm coming towards the end of it because it's already been a long one, and some of this is here. And I had created some practical examples of how I wanted to show, what I wanted to show for each of them. Here are the personality, or once, what do you say, soft skills that you can look at, and we can further do it in a next session, team, that will follow. Things like what's your attention level, eye for detail, your microvision, macrovision, logical thinking, curiosity, asking the right questions, so important, team. Then there are so many other things like teamwork, saying yes, saying no, okay, when to be silent, when to speak. I'll tell you why these are important uh, for you to look at it from a granular level. The reason being that end of the day, we don't know how good each of us, including me, are in each of these skills. If I really want to do self improvement, I need to know where I am right now. So, end of the day, you need to do a lot of practice, go through your personal circle, and try and analyze yourself and how you're doing things. All right. Some things that we did earlier in communication, you can create a template in Google Drive and do it, right? But these things, you cannot really do a recording and say, how is your microvision? How is your eye for detail? You cannot record that and see, correct? Are you thinking logically? These needs scenario based sessions. So I'm going to do some scenario based sessions where I will walk you through some of these, how we can really improve it on it. Like, when do you say no? When do you say yes? How do you go about asking the right questions? All of this is critical for your eventual success, but there are different ways of doing it. Like, you will go about improving your communication, you will not do the same for tools, you'll not do the same for personality soft skills, and couple more sections which will come up. Team, that is it from my side for today. It's been an hour and a half plus session, but what I would like to do is do a continuation session for what we have done today. Uh, and by then, you will also have a good chance to go back and start working on it. Now, while we are ending the session, I'm going to keep this at uh, the which one is that really? There you go. So that I don't have to really send you this. Create your own folder, like I was saying, within Google Drive, and create all the documents, videos, audios, and put it in there, and then start reviewing it. If you want, uh, at QAonAir, we could help you to do this with by mapping you with other members. All right. So let's see if we have the bandwidth to do that kind of an activity, and we will let you. But it'll be really good team to get into self improvements there. All right. Any quick questions through the session of what we did before we do it? And I really hope, at least to what we covered, we have done some justice on it, and you could take some value back with you at the end of it. Yes, there'll be a lot more to do. It's we are halfway there, and then we will have to take specific, very very important topics and have separate sessions on them. And there is no other way, all right, for us but to dig deep into the most important ones. So right now we are laying the foundation. We have touched upon communication critically. uh, what we will be doing from there on is, okay, there you go. So we've touched upon the communication, we've touched upon tools, we've touched upon personal, we not really touched upon this, personality and soft skills. We will add more categories and we will go deeper into it. So we need to finish the overview on each of them, then identify those few yellow ones where we go deep into. All right. All right, team. That's it from my side. Once again, thank you so much for your nice comments. Appreciate it, all of you. Most of you probably appreciated and liked the session. So we'll see you next time, and we'll go through the continuation of it. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Most of you, it is long weekend, I guess. So have a great time with family, friends. Stay safe, stay happy, and be nice spirited. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye then.